Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT and welcome to another episode of Wonderkid to Superstar. Today's Wonderkid in focus is an approach to sign Wonderkid theoretically. He is in the Dutch divisions and in this simulation he goes on to be one of the world's best forward players, but he's not one of them that's just purely filled out by the mental attributes. His physicals and his technicals, at least if you train him in the way that I'm going to show you in this video, so do stick around to watch, just become unbelievably good. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on, and with that being said, let's get right into the video. Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's another Wonderkid to Superstar episode, the series where we find a Wonderkid in FM22 who we believe is good value for money and has great potential. We set them to the higher end of that potential, and then we simulate to see how they can do in their career, so you can see what kind of player you might pick up in your save. Before we get on with it though, I just want to ask you guys, as I always do, and I'm sure you're probably bored of us saying it by now, but it really would mean a lot if you could just hit that like button, make it turn blue. It really helps in the performance of these videos, so if you could do that, that'd be great. Comment down below your rating out of 10 for the player and who you'd like to see next. And finally, if you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A good 60-70% of you guys haven't subscribed who are watching these videos, so just clicking that button would really mean a lot to us. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, we are with Manchester United, but this Wonderkid is not playing in England or for Manchester United at all. This player is in fact at AFC Ajax, of course one of the most notorious teams in the Eredivisie, and they're just notorious for producing so many great young players, and it looks like they've got another one amongst the many others they've got this year in Football Manager in David Koloko. Koloko is a 16-year-old winger, striker, inside forward, inverted winger, whatever you want to do with him, and he is a top draw player for a variety of reasons. The first being he is either-footed, which is a great thing to have on a 16-year-old, and it really does help with Dutchman in terms of his versatility in your guys' squads and of course what he can do for you on the pitch. Now straight away his attributes aren't stand out, and I'll stand by that. I'm not telling you this guy's going to be amazing straight away, but he does have some that are going to help him, and he's obviously got plenty of room to grow. His potential range is from 140 to 170, so of course lower end of that you're getting a very good player, higher end of that you're getting one of the very best players in his position. And in this video I'll show you how we made him so influential in the match engine through the attributes that we trained, so do stick around. But as you can see, he's quick, he can finish, he can dribble, he can pass, and he has good technique. Now the Dutchman can be approached to sign, but even as arguably one of the biggest clubs in real life football and Football Manager, of course, Manchester United, he doesn't want to leave on an approach to sign deal, so it doesn't look like that'll be the way that you're able to get him right from the off. He just might be worth scouting, seeing what your scouts think, and then eventually picking him up. I think he'll cost you anywhere under £10 million depending on what potential range he has in your save, but let's move him over to Manchester United and you can see him in our squad and how we're going to train him. So for this simulation, we're just going to be running a standard 4-2-3-1 gegenpress tactic, and we're going to force the assistant manager to use David Koloko in this inside forward role on the left hand side. Now just to preface this, we do get a few comments by people saying, oh, he has good potential in my save, but after 5 years he's still at Ajax and has never played a game. Well, that is kind of the way with certain Wonderkids really. If their attributes don't start off great, the teams, the AI, aren't likely to use them, at which point their career stagnates and they might have a very high potential, but they'll never reach it without game time and of course really good significant training development. But yeah, we've put Koloko in that inside forward role, and in terms of what we're doing for his training, if I just quickly show you, we are working on his quickness because I think that's going to be very important for him. If we can get him up to speed, mind the pun, I think once he's that quick he's going to be very useful in the match engine, even if his other attributes aren't that great. We're just focusing on his position as well, and with double intensity, and he's been mentored by the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, if you've ever heard of him. So yeah, we've got David Koloko. I think I've got 11 years worth of simulating in this video, so you're going to see him after 2 or 3 years, and then at the end of his career, at his peak, to see what he looks like at full growth. So without further ado, let's skip over to what he looks like in 2 or 3 years time. Okay everyone, here we are in 2024, so if we hop over to our squad, let's see how Koloko has developed. Here he is apparently unhappy, so clearly someone hasn't given him a contract during a simulation, but I'm sure we'll get that sorted. But look at the player that he is beginning to become, and he's still got plenty of room to improve, as we can see in the star ratings here. He's now officially classed as a Wonderkid with loads of pros, and the only con being one he wants to leave, which we'll fix, and the other one being his heading ability. but I don't think that comes into play too much here. He's now valued at over £50 million, and that would probably be double that amount if it wasn't for the fact that his contract was getting towards his expiration date. Physically, he's at a very dangerous level. 6'2", good with both feet, super quick, super agile, with good natural fitness, strength and stamina. You couldn't really ask for more in this kind of player on the wing. And then mentally, again, he's not really standing out in too many areas, but his determination's developed nicely, his flair's gone up nicely, he's got good off the ball, good vision, and that's going to help him on that left-hand side, because not only is he quick and has decent mentals, he can pass really well, has great technique, and then you add into that the fact that he's a good dribbler, crosser, and finisher. If we're talking about a player that's coming from the wing, he is pretty much the perfect package, because you can use him in a variety of roles, whether it be inverted winger, inside forward, or just an out-and-out winger, or even you could use him as a striker, and I think he'd do a very good job for you once you develop him. If we look how he's been performing on the pitch, it's actually been pretty insane numbers for a player who, bear in mind, is only like 18, 19 at this stage. Of course, we are Manchester United, so we're going to score a lot of goals, so I think that should be taken into account. But he's playing pretty much every game all season, which is fine. That's what we're forcing him to do through the assistant manager. And even at the age of 16, he managed to hit a 7 average match rating. And that's been climbing and climbing until this third season, where he got a 7.41 average match rating with 22 goals and 18 assists. So that's 40 goal contributions just in the Premier League alone. It's been an impeccable season for David Koloko, and he's only going to get better. Plenty of time to grow. He might be someone that, just like Karim Adeyemi actually here, who's also at the club, technically doesn't look like the world's best player in terms of his attributes, but he does probably the best I've seen out of many players in the match engine because of that mix of pace and finishing power. There's something about mixing them attributes together in Football Manager that for me at least just seems to always work perfectly, so hopefully we can get him to a similar level to what you see with the likes of Adeyemi when he fully develops. So let's go into the future when he's in his prime, about 29, 30 years old, and see what David's done for this Manchester United side, and then we can see what he might look like in your FM22 saves. Okay everyone, here we are 2035, so I think that's like 13, 14 years from where your Football Manager save starts, and we can see already David Koloko, now at 30 years old by the way, has scored 41 goals. Before we do go and have a look at him, I'd like to let you guys know that I do have my own channel linked in the description. A lot of you guys have came over and said you really enjoy it. It's all Football Manager based still, but it's more Let's Play kind of things. So we've got a series going on as well as individual rebuild videos, which you guys seem to love. So feel free to check out whatever we've got going on the channel. We did an Everton one recently, and I think it's a good video. So if you guys want to check it out, let me know what you think. That would be awesome. And you could hit the subscribe button. That would also be very nice. But yeah, David Koloko, the thing you're all here to see. Look at the kind of player he has become. Now, I'm not taking his star rating into account too much because we are now in a Manchester United team that features some of the best players in the world. So if you don't know, star ratings are based compared to other players at the club. So if there's better players at the club, Koloko doesn't look so good. But if we're purely focusing on an attribute standpoint, he is insane, guys. Either-footed still, of course, with some great player traits. Physically, it's like what we looked at earlier. He's just got better and better, as you would expect. Mentally, he started to develop too, with composure and anticipation growing. I checked in the simulation was actually 13 years, and what I did after 6 years was change his focus from quickness to finishing. So, of course, if you were more hands-on with him, you could probably mould him even better than this. But I just wanted him to be quick and then to be a good finisher from that left-hand side. And that really came to fruition when we look at his technicals. He's got amazing finishing, great dribbling as well, really good technique and passing, so he really can do it all on that left-hand side here. And I've been using him in an inside forward role for this whole simulation, but you will see in the most recent season, the 13th season, I just tried him as a striker to see what he'd be like in that position, and we can see the results have been very, very good. So that's what Koloko looks like. Let me know what you think, but in terms of how he performs in a match engine, he's a bit of a game breaker. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get you 90 goals a season or anything crazy like that, but bear in mind this is a player that, at least theoretically, is available to approach the sign. It seems like you can't really get him, but at least if you keep an eye on him, you might be able to get him for fairly cheap. Or you could even make a bid to Ajax straight away, which might force the hand of Koloko in wanting to move. But in that striker season, he's been immense with 32 goals in 38 appearances in the league alone. But he's been hitting 25, 30 goal contributions a season since pretty much that third year when you saw him last, and he's been hitting amazing average match ratings. He is genuinely a bit of a game breaker, and I think it's because of the attributes that we got him in this save. So I would say, if you're going to pick this guy up, develop him in this kind of way, focus on quickness, which he already has a fair bit of, that either-footedness alongside some good finishing attributes, make him very, very good in this simulation, and he has scored plenty of goals. He wasn't on set pieces, he wasn't on penalties, he wasn't on free kicks, but he has still done a great job for this Manchester United side. If we do have a look at his milestones he's won during his time at the club, we can see plenty of competition awards with Manchester United, as you would expect. And then awards, he's been named in the Team of the Years and things like that. I can't imagine he's won a Ballon d'Or, so I'm not going to expect that he would be there, but he was winning your under 21 best players and all of that kind of stuff when he was young, 3 times over actually. So he's definitely a top tier player. I really like him. Let me know what you guys think of him. If he was actually approached to sign, I might have him as a 10 out of 10 because, I mean, I really like the either-footedness of him, but then the way he's turned out is great. But just because I think in the first couple of seasons he might cost you anywhere between 4 or 10 million pounds, I'm going to say that he's about a 9 out of 10 for me. I really like him. Another top draw player on this left-hand side, but I think for my next one, I'm going to focus on a defensive player. So what position would you like to see next? I know some of you want to see goalkeeper. Is there any defensive role you'd like to see? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you have enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.